A global warning that the world needs to take seriously, because this report comes from an international panel of different countries which has made the point that no country has met its commitment made in Paris of cutting global temperatures. However, they've warned, in fact, they've lowered it and says that the world must cut temperatures by 1.5 degrees Celsius or wake up to the reality of severe floods like what happened in Kerala and severe drought.
India is already seeing the effects of global warming, from floods to droughts to heat waves. Now, a new report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has a fresh warning. Simply put, what today's IPCC report says is that all governments and people have to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial temperature and not under 2 degrees, as agreed 3 years ago at the Mega Climate Summit. The report is important for one more thing. It shows that all ambitious promises made by various countries then are simply not enough. Those, as one of the Indian authors says, would take the world to a catastrophic 2.7 degree to 3.4 degree of global warming.
It's a tough call, whether we are talking about 1.5 degree or 2 degree, but many of the countries are on course. It takes time. I think it will happen. It's wrong to say that we are not doing anything about it.
Just take a look at the risks of India. Above 1.5 degrees, there could be an annual occurrence of heat waves similar to those of the deadly 2015 heat waves in India and Pakistan. At 2 degrees, India could be among the countries to see the largest reductions in growth compared to 1.5 degrees of warming. There are very likely to be food and water shortages and more air pollution, and an increased risk of vector-borne diseases such as malaria and dengue, coastal flooding from a rise in the seawater, and higher risk from heavy rainfall. At 1.5 degrees, the threats are more manageable, but there will be a greater chance, a high risk of extreme weather events. For India, the danger is clear and present. Mega cities like Delhi and Bengaluru will bear the brunt. These have become what scientists call urban heat islands, and have gone past the 1.5 degree red line figure of warning.
Definitely it's alarming. Level of pollution in Bangalore city. That itself is evident. Government is doing nothing.
Government of India depends largely on coal power, and we largely depend on individual transport, cars and bikes. We should move on to renewable sources. We have to move on to a public transport system which would not pollute and which would not emit carbon dioxide. We have to move towards an anti-consumeristic society where we consume very less, basically on the needs, as Mahatma Gandhi said.
To be sure, India has begun to do a lot, like replacing biomass stoves with LPG, a drive to use LED bulbs, but a lot more still needs to be done. The government failed to stick to its own deadline of 2017 end to begin cutting emissions at coal power plants.
We have not met the targets that we had set for 2017, but seeing the reality, we have rescheduled it on a more practical basis, and from 2018 onwards, that thing will start till 2020, all the emission norms will be met.
The climate change report says the solution to keep global warming at 1.5 degrees is to cut down carbon dioxide emissions by half of that of the 2010 levels, and there's barely a decade to do so. With Prime Minister Modi getting an award for a Champions of Earth, his response will keenly be watched both in India and abroad. In New Delhi, Snigdha Basu, NDTV.